hidden away beside the Grand Union Canal and close to the Camelot Rugby Club ground lies the site of a once thriving industry in Hemel Hempstead, the Gadespring cress beds. For over a century they supplied fresh watercress to markets in London, Birmingham, Manchester and many other towns and cities throughout England. However, when production ceased in 1991 and the site was no longer maintained, it gradually succumbed to the predations of nature until it became derelict and overgrown. Hubert Mills and Ted Smith both worked at Gadespring for over 20 years and eventually became joint owners until it closed. Hubert now describes his work on a typical summer's day.
Well, so we'd start work at probably 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning. Straight away go cutting cress.
Right.
You cut cress straight away because you could cut more cress before 10 o'clock than you could any other time. When the dew was on it, it used to come in your hand lovely and nice and wet. But if it got very hot, the cress got a bit limp and raggy, you know, it wasn't so good. But we started at 8 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, work till 8 and have a bit of breakfast, perhaps for half hour, and then carry on until we got what the orders were.
What would be the latest that you'd be cutting the cress during the day?
After dinner, well after dinner.
What's that, during the afternoon?
Yeah, we tried to get it done before dinner so we could then get the beds tidied up in the afternoon. See, that was essential. You tried to get your beds tidy, else you'd lose perhaps a crop of cress the next time.
20 years later, the Boxmoor Trust acquired Gadespring as a wildlife and heritage site. After much hard work by the conservation volunteers and investment by the Trust to clear the site and restore the beds, there is now water flowing through the channels for the first time in over 30 years. The fresh artesian water which is pumped from the middle of the site encourages a wealth of plants and invertebrates, birds, mammals and amphibians.
So just tell me about making them tidy. What did that involve?
Well, when you cut the cress, in the summertime you cut it, you left the stalks, the stubble we called it, yeah. And also you'd got to trim the banks, keep the streams clean, free of weeds, so the water could run through well. It was a never-ending job really. We could never say we'd finished because you had.
And then what time would you knock off in the?
About 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Right.
5 o'clock. Yeah.
There is a bird hide which looks onto a scrape with a regular supply of fresh water from the aquifer. And a kingfisher nesting bank has been created on the edge of the scrape opposite the hide. A gate has been installed with arrangements so that responsible nature lovers and photographers can have access to the hide.
I've got some photos here, Hubert, which I'd just like you to sort of say a little bit about what's in it and what's happening.
Well, that is a picture of myself gathering cress. There we are, that's a hand of cress.
Right, now just talk about a hand. What do you mean by a hand of cress?
Well, it's as much as you can get in your hand. So I used to buy it loose at one time, I had so many hands, and that's how we used to gather it. And I used to pack them then in the tins or containers neatly, so when they go to bunch them, the women could put their hand in and take a hand out without disturbing the hand below. That's my partner, Mr. Smith. That's all been bunched. That's all bunched, stacked up, all bunched.
Yeah.
He's just picking them up now, washing it and packing them.
Right, and that would be in your shed here?
In the bunching shed, well it was the old shed, yeah. That'd be packed 18 or 20 in a box, bunches.
Right.
Put the lid on and the boxes went into the tank, hypochlorite tank, for so long, then they'd go out and put straight in the fridge. Then there were sprinklers in the fridge that just sprinkled water them over well. That's Mr. Smith gathering cress, and that's looking up the ground, and that's the old van we used to put, see the containers in there? That's when we used to fill them up.
So what happened to they went into that van, and what happened
we used to
then?
bring them down to the bunching shed, because that's a good old walk, wasn't it? I used to go up with a barrow early in the morning, big old barrow, but that's a good old walk if you're up the top, ain't it? Yeah. There's a borehole there, a proper artesian well, electric pump. That'd pump the water up, and it'd go along this pipe, that went across there
Yeah.
into another little brick-built building there,
Yeah.
where there'd be an outlet then going up the ground towards the number, well, from
Top end.
Yeah, the top, which would go in a bitumen pipe underground, then it'd go past the 7 beds, then it'd go to the next 7, and we'd let it out. We got double the water then up that end.
Right. So the water that's in the beds, is that not river water?
No, this is all pure spring water.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we're mucking a bed out there.
Just explain what that means, mucking it out.
Taking all the old cress out, chuck it on the bank, and then we
Right, and then you could re-sow.
reseed it or sow it or do what you like with it. Yeah.
And what are those poles that you've got in your hand? Then what were they for?
They might be the rakes, they might be a pitchfork, I don't know. They
Oh,
look
I
like a rake. But what I had looks if I got a pitchfork. See, sometimes we could rake it in big heaps, then get a fork and throw it out.
Right. Now you said you had to keep the cress under the water when it was frosty.
Yeah, oh, you best do, yeah.
And what about, because there's snow in that picture.
Yeah, I know,
so
that's got a bit of it as well. That must have got in before we got there, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know
did it
why.
kill it if it frosted?
Not if it's a little frost, a hard frost it might, but not just a sniveler.
Trail cameras have been set up to record wildlife activity. Regular visitors include kingfishers, herons and little egrets, and foxes. In summer there is an abundance of dragonflies, damselflies, butterflies and moths. Gadespring is open to visit and explore on the last Sunday of every month, when Trust volunteers will take you on guided tours, and you can learn more about the history and wildlife of this fascinating site.